So this week you're going to learn about session state, and we're also going to learn a little bit more about model binding. We've talked about model binding in previous weeks, but you're going to expand on what you know. And Chapter 9 gets into session state. And if you remember, session variables are variables that you create, and they exist during your web browser session. And then when you exit out of the browser, those variables are destroyed. Okay. And so you'll learn how to create those variables in an MVC app. Okay? That's what Chapter 9 covers. Chapter 10, we cover model binding, but also and what we've been doing mostly for model binding is binding to objects from our model classes. But you're actually going to learn how to bind to primitive types, how to access data directly from the form itself using a request.form, how to access data that's up here in the route in the URL using route data. Okay, so little different ways of accessing the data. And then we're going to talk more about bind and bind never. And then you'll learn more about how to create lists in the views using the select. Okay, and then finally, we're going to walk through how filters are used, okay, because they are used in this chapter, and we're going to walk through how that works. So you do have, I need a new mouse. You do have assignments from both of these that you will be turning into the drop boxes. And then we also have a unit test. I don't think the assignments are going to take you all that long. And then we'd have a unit test, and you'll be able to take that 3 times, and it should store your highest score. Okay. And in addition, I do have some additional resources for you on session and state management, and then also how to bring in JSON files, which will also be covered in the material for this week. So if you run into problems or if you have questions, please let me know. You'll notice, I think it's this week and last week, we do work with exercises out of the book, and I've found some of the directions confusing. So make sure you look at my helpful hints, because I actually am clarifying some of those directions for you. So if you are going through directions and you think they're a little bit confusing, make sure you read my hints, because I think that will help you a lot. Okay. And if you have questions, please let me know.